No one is talking about this. There is a lot of pressure on the Cleveland Cavaliers this season, and no one more so than Donovan Mitchell. Not just to win a championship this year, but also for the long-term legacy of this NBA superstar. Welcome to another episode of Cavs Digest, everybody. I'm your host for today, Darayus Sethna. Thanks so much for joining me. Before we get into Donovan Mitchell today, just want to show you, friendly reminder, I was showing you guys this the other day. Look at that, 68% of you, almost 68, are not subscribed to our channel. That means almost 2 out of every 3 viewers are not subscribed to Cavs Digest, and we don't want to see that. We want to see more subscriptions. It helps us out, and it's also going to help you out to get more content right here on Cavs Digest, streamed right to you every day. Matt's been doing a great job as well, so make sure you like this video and subscribe to that Cavs Digest YouTube channel. All right, let's get into it, because today's topic of conversation is one that I think Cavs fans don't really want to have, or maybe are a little bit uncomfortable having. But guess what? We need to let the cat out of the bag at some point, and I'm going to do that today. So I found a really interesting piece on Cleveland.com, one of the premier media sources here in Northeast Ohio, and it was just an overview on a podcast that through Cleveland.com called the Wine and Gold Talk Podcast. And I actually know a couple of individuals who work for Cleveland.com who are on that podcast. They do a terrific job. And they were talking about Donovan Mitchell, key topic of conversation here. And it was a really interesting debate between where Donovan Mitchell is in his career and what he ultimately can live up to, or what he might become. So is he the Cavs' true number one star or an elite number two? And this is something we talk about in the NBA all the time, especially for you big basketball fans out there. There's always that question of who's the 1A? Is there a 2? There are so many different ways that you can classify someone who is considered the guy on a championship level team. And it's not so easy of a distinction for Donovan Mitchell, and these guys got into it in the podcast, and I want to bring up an individual by the name of Jimmy Watkins, who is a writer for Cleveland.com and was part of the podcast and kind of gave his take on where Donovan Mitchell is at in his career. Watkins stated, "We're kind of at a real crossroads here for Donovan. Are you going to become one of these capital G guys or what? And that's crucial. We're at a very interesting point in his career." And honestly, at first when I heard that quote, I'm thinking to myself, come on, this is Donovan Mitchell, right? Look at these numbers. They prove it in themselves, right? Of course he's a number one guy. 30 minutes per game. The 24 minutes per game, or points per game, dropped a little bit because he deferred to guys like Darius Garland and Evan Mobley so they could shine. But usually in years past, that points per game number was up to 26, 27, 28. So he was averaging almost 30 points in his sleep. And then the all-around terrific player as well, with the 5 rebounds per game, the 5 assists per game, right, is a tenacious defender. The field goal percentage, 44% from the field. A solid three-point shooter at 37%. So he is a problem on any spot on the court, right? And the numbers, the statistics would tell you, hey, Donovan Mitchell is definitely a number one guy. But it is so much more than that, right? When you think about Donovan Mitchell and his capabilities, those numbers haven't stirred the results that maybe he's hoped for throughout the process of his career. You look at what he did in Utah, drafted to the Utah Jazz in 2017, so this will be all year 9 for him, and he's never made a conference finals appearance. Not in Utah, obviously not with Cleveland either. Hasn't even been to the conference finals, and here are all these pundits, here we are, like myself included, saying the Cavs should be the favorites to make not even the Eastern Conference Finals, but the NBA Finals, right? So really the question here, and Watkins mentioned it in that quote, at the end of the day, is Donovan Mitchell the alpha, or is he an overqualified second option, is what the article essentially talked about. Now, I do want to bring up some precedent here because the article mentioned this as well, and I thought it was kind of interesting, around Kyrie Irving, right? Or, sorry, we're going to get to that photo in a bit. But Kyrie Irving, when he was with Cleveland. Watkins brought up, it was kind of a similar situation, right? After LeBron James had left for Miami, the Cavs draft Kyrie Irving to really be that preeminent star for the team. And throughout his first couple years in Cleveland without LeBron, Kyrie was getting better. He was steadily improving. And then, obviously, I brought up that picture accidentally, but then LeBron James comes back in 2014, kind of unexpectedly, and then Kyrie essentially was forced to take a back seat. You're obviously not going to say, hey, LeBron, take a back seat. LeBron James in his prime, take a back seat because, Kyrie Irving. Absolutely not going to do that, right? So, to me, I don't really see as many similarities with this because you look at Kyrie Irving, he was a rookie who came in and was still developing. When Donovan Mitchell came to the Cleveland Cavaliers, he was already a pretty solidified star in the NBA. And then ultimately, we did see Kyrie Irving when he did go to be the number one guy. It was elsewhere, right? In Boston, didn't work out, and then obviously went to Brooklyn, and we all know the history from there, right? But Kyrie Irving, to me, in Cleveland specifically, was never really given a chance to be that number one guy. So to me, the similarities, I can see where Watkins is coming from with this analysis, why he'd bring this up. But to me, there are just too many differences to really make a fair comparison when it comes to Donovan Mitchell in this case. So kind of going into this a little bit more, one other key element I want to point out here to really determine where Donovan Mitchell is and why this is he's at such a crucial point in his career is because you have to look at the age factor as well. Right, Donovan Mitchell just turned 29 this past Sunday. So he's obviously in the middle of his prime, late 20s, right? And the age is starting to get up there. It's maybe not as, significant right now, but it's something definitely the Cavs fans should keep in the back of their minds. Donovan Mitchell isn't, 25 and spry, and he's still obviously very athletic and still has some great years ahead of him. But it's just something to take in the back of your mind there. So going into that a little bit more, Watkins stated in this quote, "Once you're 32, 33, most guys don't break through as that lead guy by then in the NBA, right? The league is getting younger, young stars, athleticism, shooting. So once you hit, that early 30s point, you're obviously still young in terms of life, but in NBA years, you're getting up there in terms of veteran status, if you will." And though Watkins further explained, if Donovan gets to the point where he's 33, he's probably going to be the second best player on his team. And he's at this point where so much is riding on these next couple of seasons. Now that with Watkins, I couldn't agree more. There is a lot on the line for Donovan Mitchell. We talk about just with the Cavs overall, a lot of pressure this year to make the NBA Finals, let alone even win a championship. Right, but for Donovan Mitchell specifically, it is so important that he really takes advantage of these next couple of years and shows us that he can be the number one guy on a championship team. The numbers to me solidify that he can. Now, like I said, the results aren't there yet, but the numbers and the way I've seen him play show me that he can do it. Also, to further point out, he deferred to Evan Mobley and Darius Garland, like I mentioned earlier. That is something that a lot of star players don't have the ability to do. That's a trait to me of an alpha type player, someone who's so dominant, but also understands that, he has to take a back seat at some points in order to let his other teammates shine. Right, so to me, there is still a lot on the line here for Donovan Mitchell in terms of results. The numbers, he's proven that he can score. He's proven that he can do all these things. Scored 71 points in a game, right, for crying out loud. But now it's time for the results to show up for Donovan Mitchell, and that is where it becomes crucial for his career. Before I get out of here, I want to kind of end on this one last quote by Watkins here that he mentioned in the little article there on Cleveland.com. And this essentially sums up everything that I've been talking about today. So Donovan Mitchell's legacy right now is a complicated one. And again, it's not the one you necessarily want. It's basically nice stats, nice accolades, but what did it all lead to? Like I said again, the results. The results now for Donovan Mitchell matter. We know you can score 30 points per game. We know you can get, 6, 7 rebounds, do all that stuff, win in the regular season. But now it's time for the results to show up when it matters most. It didn't happen in Utah. It has to happen here in Cleveland. And for Donovan Mitchell, it has to happen now within the next couple of years. Certainly a lot on the line this year. But this is a huge moment for Donovan Mitchell. How can he respond? I believe he's going to get it done in terms of results. Believe the Cavaliers will make the NBA Finals this year. Whether they win it or not is a totally different conversation for another day, but this is the time for Donovan Mitchell. I want to hear what you have to say, though, so let me know in the comments below. What do you think of Donovan Mitchell? Is he at a crossroads? Is he fine? Are we overreacting here? Let me know, and make sure, like I said, look at that number, 68% of you not subscribed to the channel. So make sure you like this video and subscribe to the Cavs Digest YouTube channel. Have a fantastic day, everyone, and I'll see you again soon. Thanks so much.